Hurt her snapping, perhaps. Since that putt didn't quite snap as much as she thought. Maybe 4 feet for par, and Lydia will have a putt for a 5-shot lead in a moment. First 13.
And Minjee Lee for birdie.
Little right to lefter.
Oh, this moved more than she thought.
Did.
Yeah, so you'd expect a little more help from that bunker and that hill outside the green, but the rest of the green complex takes over in that area.
Last week it was Kang playing with a big lead on Sunday midway through the round. Wound up winning by 1. Ko for a 5-shot lead.
Downhill slider, just going to die it down there.
After she saw Danielle hit it by, I'm sure there was a little second thought that the putt could get away. So one thing you can learn from your playing competitors is get an idea of not just the speed at which it's rolling, but any surprises that your opponent might have on the greens.
Don't think Lydia even needs birdies at this point. Leading by 4 with the 6 left after this one. Kang for par.
Gently uphill. A little bit of movement, right? Depends on the speed, as all breaking putts do.
She had several of this length yesterday. And she was very frustrated at the end of the round not having converted. But she's been pretty solid today, Jerry.
No surprise. It's payday. She's tough.
Lydia's getting a head start to the 13th. Kang for par to stay 4 back. Well, that's not a tap in exactly. She'll drop at least 1. As she gathers herself, we go to 14 and Shadow.
It's open 160. This is a 7-iron. She's just trying to land it halfway between the front end of the green and the hole.
Oh.
And that took a big bounce.
Huge bounce.
Jody's going to be tied for second if Kang makes her bogey putt. Again, Ko is aware that they are on the clock. They have the entire 13th hole empty.
And that par putt was a definition of a power lip. Catching the high lip with a little too much speed, and that's why this isn't just a tap in. Still no problem.
Six holes to play, 5 shots back. The course ends for tournament participants with back-to-back par 5s. Kang and Shadow now
Pairing ahead on the 14th green.
Yeah, you get, what is it, 40 seconds for a shot, and you get a 10-second grace period. I think Danielle might have come close on that last hole because you're not penalized per shot. It's per hole. Lydia was fine. But Lydia's trying her hardest to make up ground by getting over to the tees quickly, hitting it quickly, even though you're not timed on your walk to the tee. So she wants to get rid of the clock as soon as she can.
Yeah, if you can get back in position.
I guess if you're Danielle Kang and you're 5 shots behind, you take your time to make a birdie, and if you don't make it, well, if you get a shot penalty, you're 5 shots behind anyway. Maybe that's the attitude she's taking.
I would doubt that.
But she took a long time on that green.
I think it's more likely that just sorting through mentally, preparing for each shot, and maybe not realizing exactly how much time goes by. Often can happen.
Both of them okay there. It would be hard to fathom strategy when it came to being timed on the clock, but there's 5 shots in it. Maybe that could be something that comes into play.
Long birdie putt at the 14th for Minjee Lee.
Uphill through the trough. Her speed not quite as good as it has been.
And we saw that 3-putt on the 11th.
Move up to the 15th.
Check in with Maria Torres. And this one back down the green.
It's a relatively flat green. The entire hole is sloping slightly towards the green, so it actually might be back up the hill in this putt.
Started the day tied 15th. She's 2 over for the round, unfortunately, so... Excuse me, started the day 6th. She's 2 over for the round. She's now tied 15th. So going the wrong way. Back to 14.
Putter from off the green for Shadoff.
Smart play, because this is about the only club she can accelerate with. It's a good play.
Maybe 4 feet for par. 15.
This is Lindsay Weaver for a birdie. A player who, at the end of last year, was considering stepping away from the game and following her degree, which is in finance, getting a job in the banking world. But her mother said to her, you know, give it one more shot. Come on. And she made it through the Q Series and is back out on tour this year.
Had a fascinating adventure of trying to buy a house in the midst of the COVID after both her and her fiance were out of work, but eventually moved in and picked up another birdie there. They can buy some furniture with a good finish.
Yeah, it's been a tough day for Lindsay, as you see. But hoping for a top 30 finish, or maybe a little better if she can make a few more birdies coming in.
Yeah, 107. Trying to help, but mostly across.
What does the 50 carry?
Usually 106. Probably a little further today.
Can you see where the wind is?
Yep. Should be a little bit of help right now. Yeah, that 107's playing like 103. There's a little help there. Right? Smooth and aggressive.
At the 13th, this is Lydia Ko's second shot, leading by 5.
Just tough to get it close today where that hole is placed. Typically, you just spin a wedge right next to it, but where it's going to land is flat to a little downslope. If she hits it just short of the hole, breeze helping.
Safe. Very safe, and at this point, it's a 5-shot lead.
That's exactly what you need.
Exactly. Just don't beat yourself.
Danielle, on the other hand, she has to force the issue now. She really has to try and get cute with this one and get it close. 10 yards closer to the hole, distance-wise.
Straight at it.
And that's the bounce you're referring to, Jerry. It's just a little bit tough to get it close to this hole.
Still managed to get some stop on it, and she will have a putt for birdie to try and close the gap. Remember, there is an interesting finish here. 2 par 5s at 17 and 18, Grant.
This is Lydia Ko at the 3rd. Began the day with a 4-shot lead. And with Kang in there close, Ko would bury the birdie. And then at the 7th, again with Kang closer.
And again, it's about picking apart this golf course. It's a par 5. Got wedge in hand. Put yourself in position. And she's been able to capitalize on those moments.
And she's made a couple of key putts for par as she tries to win for just the 2nd time in the last 4+ years. She won here in 2016, July of 2016. Since then, just one victory. At the 14th, Minjee Lee with her second 3-putt of the back 9.
She's going the wrong direction.
To be fair, those were long putts, but
they still feel like mistakes.
Sure.
You know it's not a gimme, but it certainly feels like a mistake.
Back on the tee at the 15th, Jody Ewart Shadoff.
He's headed a little bit down the right-hand side. That wind is coming from her left over her shoulder, but she will catch the fairway. Not a surprise.
Yeah, it's pretty bad down that right side, and she looked concerned that it might head into the nasty stuff, but it was okay in the end. Back a couple of holes to the 13th green, and Lydia Ko for birdie.
Gently downhill, a little bit of turn left early, then it should straighten out right at the hole. Not often a putt baffles Lydia by a foot and a half.
No, she is a tremendous reader of the greens. There are some subtleties out here, especially when you see banks of bunkers that you feel like should be helping, and the entire slope of the green is away from it.
Still, pars should be good enough. You never quite know, but 5 ahead with 5 to play, although Danielle Kang hasn't putted yet at 13th. Lydia's record here is pretty incredible at the Marathon Classic. 7th, a win, a 3rd, a win, and a 20th. Now, Danielle looking for back-to-back wins, having won last week.
This one just a little downhill early as well, not terrifyingly fast. She's looking just outside the hole on the left.
It's a great look at how she swings the putter too. Very still grip end, hinges that right wrist, and watch the toe release post impact. Really.
Oh yes, edged it in there. So creeps one shot closer. And the way that she has been putting at times today, if she can start rolling them in, then there's the potential for a little bit of pressure on Lydia, depending on how she plays over this closing stretch. They're going to scamper over to the par 3 14th.
They better scamper.
Take Lydia, go get her.
They're on the clock.
And you know Danielle's paying attention to exactly where she is likely relative to Lydia, if she doesn't know. We did see her pull out her phone. Typically, there's a large leaderboard right here on the 14th hole that the players could be able to look up at. Lydia said that she didn't expect that she would be paying much attention to that, just staying focused on her own game.
And she hasn't had to, because the only other player with a realistic chance to win at this point is playing with her. And she certainly knows what Danielle has done. Kang gets the honor back.
It's interesting, when you have the honor, you have the chance to set the pace for the group. And I can tell, based on Lydia's body language and based on Danielle's body language, they're very different paces right now. Danielle taking her time to get the ball teed in the ground.
Let's look at this tee shot with our TrackMan Tracer technology presented by NEC.
Yeah.
Going with 8-iron, which is a club she doesn't normally hit 160 yards, but there is some help in the wind. You land it on the green short of the hole, some 15, 20 feet, and it'll release forward. You land it on the green just short of the hole, and it'll stop pretty quickly. Gave it the full treatment right of the hole.
Should be good.
Really good.
Excellent. And you described it perfectly, Jerry. There's very little margin of error when approaching into this green. We've seen some really big kicks, landing about 6 yards on.
So in this duel of former U.S. women's amateur champions, Kang has managed to apply a bit of pressure on Lydia.
Lydia, also an 8-iron, probably won't hit it quite as hard. Her irons fly just a little farther than Danielle. Danielle's doing her job, applying the pressure, trying to overcome what seemed like perhaps insurmountable lead. Lydia usually responds. This is a little bit farther right.
And that's that big bounce.
Yeah, that she hit right in the downslope of the valley.
5-shot lead through 12. It's now 4, and Kang has the advantage here at 14. Can she creep a little bit closer? 15.
Second for Jody.
116 to the front, 126 to the hole. She's got pitching wedge. Just a nice, easy one for her.
She said seven top 5 finishes, and her scoring average in the final round from those top 5s is 68.86.
We're at the par 3 14th. Danielle Kang is close for birdie. Lydia Ko is just off the back of the green. We saw Jody Urchadoff take putter from a similar spot. Looks like Lydia's got a wedge. A little different angle.
We did see her do that earlier in the day as well, take wedge when she had the opportunity to take putter. Jerry, is that a common choice for Lydia?
I was highly shocked yesterday when she did take a putter in a similar situation. She always tries flying it on the green if she can, and she's trying to make this just as much as she would if a putter were in her hands.
An opportunity here to cut the deficit to 2.
It's a little bit of a downhiller, Paige, but given the circumstances and given the bulldog mentality of Danielle Kang, I would be shocked if she misses this.
Well, she's had the opportunity to see Lydia kind of from a couple different angles around this hole, so she should have a pretty good read on it. You can learn, even if it's not on the exact same line in which she's putting, you can learn from each of those and how the ball reacts around the hole. Now it's just about executing. She made a beautiful stroke on the last hole.
Game on.
There you go!
She's made up 3 shots in 10 minutes. And Danielle Kang is right back in it. 2 shots back with 4 to play.
Just another example of some of the clutch performance that she's had over the last couple of holes. You can see the softness in which she holds the club. Great tempo throughout, and again, just able to release the putter head. It's so difficult when the nerves start to creep in to be able to allow those soft hands.
Jody Urchadoff at the 16th. She's alone in 3rd place at 13 under. She's not out of it, Gail.
No, and she should have had better opportunity to be closer with making a birdie on the last hole, but unfortunately made par. Busted that one down here. She's going to have a very short club in.
Off the final pair goes to the 15th.
And we know what Danielle Kang's match play record is. You've mentioned it multiple times, winning 2 U.S. amateurs. She has a confrontational style when she plays. She likes playing matches. She has an older brother, plays professionally. It's a very comfortable place. Playing with a little bit more freedom and trusting. You know, she's still the player that she was that kind of took the LPGA by storm. And then, of course, Danielle Kang. Just 6 birdies on the day. Just trying to make a huge charge. Put a little pressure on Lydia with a couple holes to play.
Little technique we've noticed there from Danielle. Closes her eyes on the green. Now Lydia for birdie. Steady. Yeah, should be a par there for Ko. I wonder what Danielle is visualizing when she stands there with the eyes closed on the green. Probably a birdie here, Jerry. wins by a year, and this gives you a great indication of the way that Lydia's career has progressed, with her Rookie of the Year honors, then Player of the Year honors when she came out onto the tour. 3 wins, 5 wins, 4 wins, but then the drought and only 1 win in the last 4 seasons.
Wind picking up, gusting quite a bit, blowing straight across the line from the left here. That's uncomfortable, even on a short putt. Lydia stepped away because of it.
They're still being timed here, Jerry?
Oh, yeah.
Put on the clock a few holes ago.
Jody Rashad for a much-needed birdie at 16.
Uphill. About 22 feet. Her pace has been good. She's just not finding the hole.
Struggled on the greens yesterday. 33 putts after 2 terrific days putting this week. Back to 15.
This is exciting, Jerry. We've got a birdie putt here for Kang to get within 1.
Wouldn't have thought it just a couple of holes ago when we were saying pars will get it done for Lydia. Not the case. Danielle only has played 3 events this season. 1, of course, last week in one of them. So using her stats from the previous season, was 11th best putter on tour. And like I mentioned on the previous hole, if she misses it, I'd be more surprised than if she makes it. If this does miss, it's hitting the hole. So tough.
Should move at the end, and it did. So birdie at 13, birdie at 14, and just a par at 15, and still 2 behind. But very much all to play for here with 3 to play. In the final round of the Marathon Classic, can Kang go back?
16. We'll take a look at Danielle Kang here, 2 back.
Breeze helping from the left. Got to keep this left center of the fairway. That's going a long ways. That's up the right.
Gonna run through. Ooh. Got the adrenaline pumping, Jerry.
Evidently.
All right, we're going to take a look at Lydia's tee shot with our TrackMan Tracer technology presented by NEC. Up to 3 to play.
Driver's being aggressive here. Doesn't need it. Just 2 up the right side.
Ripped one down the middle yesterday and made birdie, but both have gone into the thickest part of the rough.
Where the golf course starts to change a little bit.
What we missed?
65. Not quite time to get there.
Okay, so bouncing it onto the green. Okay.
That's a 16.
If I hit like a half
Landing
swing
right.
and a half swing with the pitching wedge,
Yeah.
where would the height of this be?
Like a half swing.
Yeah.
Like if you're landing it short of the green, the height's going to be level with those branches, those lower branches there. If you're landing it like around that brown leaf,
Yes.
the height's going to be the same as those branches.
So what do you have to say?
I'm thinking like, if you're talking about landing it short of the green, land it around that brown leaf. You see the brown leaf?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, with that club.
So that's like 65.
Yep.
Bit of mistake here, Jerry. Hitting it through the fairway now, having to manufacture.
Yeah, the balls are right next to each other, and it's a huge advantage to Kang. This is an awful lie, downhill lie. Has to go under the left branches of that tree, where Danielle Kang has a little clearer look at a much, much better lie. Set.
Okay. Again, the door is open for Kang with virtually no green to work with for this bunker shot.
Well, Kang could actually get this over the tree off this side. The ball is just sitting right up on top of the rough. That looks like what she's rehearsing. I thought she'd try and hit a low wedge just under the tallest branch on the left of the tree and fly it to the middle of the green.
Par 5's coming up at 17 and 18. Kang 2 back. And the green clear.
This golf course has changed a lot in the amount of run out, and now they're dealing with a little bit extra wind. You can see that that tee shot just...
I think being on the clock, they...
Kang from the bunker when we come back.